Ba-da-bum. Bum. Okay. So, when we left off, yes, or not yesterday, the day before yesterday, we learned what Aothus's plan finally is. He's going to destroy the Great Wheel, which is what allows souls to basically get reincarnated. When people die, they become souls. Their souls go to the wheel, and then they get redistributed to new bodies. So he's going to destroy the wheel and end the cycle of rebirth for all of life. So everybody's kind of freaking out about that. And so we need to get to Ukaizo, which is where the wheel is located, and see if we can stop him or convince him not to, or convince him to do it. I'm sure we'll have an option to do whatever. But to get to Ukaizo, we apparently need a special boat, the Hanging Dutchman, I think it's called. It's like a ghost ship. So we need to go to Fort Deadlight, sorry, and talk to the pirate lady there, who can apparently summon this ship. So we're going to go say hi to her and see if we can get our hands on the Hanging Dutchman. Because Ukaizo is in the middle of this, which is a giant, like, uncontrollable storm, so... The heck is Fort Deadlight again? Oh, it's 5 feet to my right, okay.
Are you ready to meet right this?
Take me to your leader.
Ah, Captain. Beholding you never ceases to be a wonder. I only wish we met under more pleasurable circumstances. You wanted to speak with me? Well, consider me a captive audience.
I came to tip you off. Ferrante's convinced the council to have you hanged.
How fucking dare he! Though I should hardly be surprised after all you've told me. There's only one way to take the floating hangman. And that's through the death of a captain. Him or me.
You know something about the floating hangman you're not telling me.
I haven't the faintest idea as to what you could mean, Loveson. You're not buying it, eh? Guess it was only a matter of time. I knew the spies I strung up by their guts couldn't have been the only ones. They were just the poor squabs who got caught.
Well, how do you want to deal with Ferrante? Kill him?
Oh, aye. For casting me under in a farce of a trial. I'm going to cut his prick off and make him eat it.
I think you get to do that in The Witcher too.
Ferrante covets the floating hangman in order to enforce his control of the Principe, not to protect us from our outside enemies, nor to beat your rampaging god to Ukaizo. But I'm 2 leagues ahead of Ferrante. I know how to summon and command the floating hangman. Of course, I destroyed the information as soon as I uncovered Ferrante's spies. You'll never learn it without me.
Get me the floating hangman and I'll give you the Principe.
I'm happy to work with you, Loveson. I've been after a partnership with you for a long time. And I think you know that. But if we're to help each other, there is one thing I want from you in return for the floating hangman. That cockrot Ferrante needs to go. Hang him, gut him, I don't care. but get rid of him. All right?
Is there a non-violent option? No, I'll see it done. Her miscolored eyes gleam with dark excitement.
I'll sail to Dunwich and take command of the Principe as soon as Ferrante is gone.
Alright. Back to where we just were to go kill Ferrante, I guess. Alright. Time to kill Ferrante. Also, I need repair supplies and medicine. Need what? 59 and 44. Where is he? Here. Yeah. Okay, Ferrante, time to die. I sided with the Queen, but it's bugged out, so I have to side with the pirates. Because I dealt with the slavers before getting the quest to deal with the slavers, it like broke a different quest that you need to side with the Queen, so we're sided with the pirates.
Did you meet with Aldis at Deadlight? And, more importantly, is she still breathing? You know what I'm hoping for.
Is it to die by my hand? Because you're about to.
So you are loyal to her, and as much a traitor. Ready for fire! Anyone who brings me this boat's head and 5 ships from my fleet!
I smell conflict.
Yeah, like this quest, Fruitful Alliance, I can't turn this in. And I can't progress the Queen Alliance without turning this quest in, so... It is what it is. I don't really care who I side with. I really don't, so it's fine. Ow. Shit. God damn it. the best ending is whatever ending leaves the world in the most fucked up situation, so... I hate happy, like, goody-goody endings. Everything was happily ever after. Hey, Tabascopong, thanks for the raid, man. Welcome to Tabasco's viewers. How you guys doing? Why did you not... Oh, I must have got interrupted.
Let's go.
There we go.
I shall deal with this one.
Good. There we go.
What?
I've got it.
Ferrante's breastplate. Aura grants nearby allies damage reduction, though the wearer takes increased damage. Grants concentration. Huh. That doesn't seem very good.
Very well.
Alright, let's rest. Oh, we can't rest here. Shit. You're buffering at 160p? God damn, man. Your internet is the worst. I couldn't deal with that shit. Could not handle it.
I smell it in the air.
They'll fall by my hand.
You got the dignity to die.
Uploading 56 kilobytes. Ugh.
Take that.
Yeah, I've had solid broadband for a long, long time. My city got cable internet pretty early, so I've been on a reasonable connection for so long. I don't think I could ever go back. Used to play EverQuest on 56k. Oh no.
Wasn't that bad?
Take that. It will not do. Enough. Sure.
Go to the end game without supporting anyone. There you go. 5 minute zone times? Oh no. No thanks. I'm pretty sure I was already on cable by the time EverQuest came out. Hey Beatnik, how you doing, man? Okay, so he's dead. We can sell some stuff here. I don't know why I care at this point, but whatever. We have more money than we could ever possibly spend. Alright, back to Deadlight.
Are you ready to... Right.
I would have liked to see Ferrante hanging, myself. I can imagine it well enough, though. For your loyalty, I'd like you to have Scoradeo's Edge. It's been a good sword to me. I know you'll put it to good use. Hopefully by killing more of my enemies. I'll be taking command of the Principe now. I'm calling a meeting of the Council at Dunwich.
Bonus to accuracy with ranged weapons? On a sword? That seems kind of dumb.
Sail with me to Dunwich, Loveson. I'd like to have you at my side when I bloody the place.
Sure.
Arriving with the full protection of my fleet is the best call.
Off we go, back to Dunwich again. Back and forth, back and forth.
Welcome to Balefire Beacon, Captain. Have you a moment? I'd like to fill you in on our next course of action. Everything we thought was important has changed. If a god is going to kill us all, if he's headed to Ukaizo, I say we beat him there. Either it'll save us, or we'll have a hell of a view to Aora's end. What say you?
It will take some time to refill the Consuelo's vacant seats. For now, those of us remaining are united behind Aldi's. Our fleets will join in the journey to Ukaizo, with the fabled floating hangman at the helm. Ferrante had planned to use the galleon. It has the ability to manipulate the winds and seas. It could part Ukaizo's storms, allowing us to sail through.
I guessed his aims well enough through his interest in the galleon's history. But it was thanks to your findings in Isaya's tomb that I knew what to look for. It's Lucia's lost sword that's key. She took an undying oath to protect the Engoliero d'Or spears for the Darkotsi line. If you speak the oath before the sword, the seal on its scabbard will release, drawing Lucia and the galleon to you. Iogure de protegere, mat paladina med Darkotsi, e ure ioste regle, me aurelia Darkotsis ere. Gure cui luretto bon aimo ibafeta, e pore pere cue maudicenas fiace, mi convorande.
Did you guys get that, chat?
First, recover Lucia's sword from Isaiah. Then, sail to the seas. Unsheath the sword by chanting the Darkotsi oath. When Lucia comes for it, kill her. and take the Fonferros. In the meantime, I'll set the entire Principe into movement. Expect a formidable fleet at the ready on your return. We'll conquer Ukaizo and sack its riches. You'll see. Good. I'll be counting on you. Andra's luck to you, Lovesome.
Hey, Drzok. It's going okay. I think we're almost done, so that's good. I'm kind of ready for this game to be over.
What can I do for you? What do you want? How heavy?
The only way to draw Riven out into the open is by speaking the Darkosi Oath before her old sword. The sword is currently guarded by Acer in the Hanging Sepulchres. Okay. So we gotta go back to Nekataka. Hey, enough jet. How you doing, man? The Divinity games? I might do Divine Divinity, yeah. I don't know if I'd do any of the other ones. I just played through the original Sin games when they came out, so it's a little too recent for me to play through them again. And Beyond Divinity is terrible, and Divinity 2 I didn't really like that much either, so... But I did like Divine Divinity a lot when I played it way back in the day. Yeah, no, definitely not flushing Star Trail. It's just... Ugh. 4.5 hours to get to the first frickin' town was a little ridiculous. I was getting a little pissed. But we'll stick with it. Yeah, the original Sin games are fantastic, but it's I've literally just played through them, so playing through them again this soon. I mean, someday I'll do them for sure if I'm streaming that long. If my stream stays alive long enough to get to the point where I want to replay those games, then I will play them on stream. But that's a long way away. What's so bad about Beyond Divinity? It's just really bad. It was unfinished. There's like barely anything to do. It's just you just walk around fighting bland monsters. There's like no quests or story or anything. It's like a really, really bland, nothing Diablo clone.
How fares, brother?
What can you tell me about Lucia Ruin?
Curse her soul to nether and torture. Rivan would have befouled Berth. Was a black pox on the oar that she whilom sought to vile ruin? I would aid any who hunt for Rivan. Aye, what are you seeking to learn?
Who was she?
Rivan was a Darkotsi paladin. She defied Bereth, wielded a weapon nae meant for the hands of mortals. I hunted for Rivan and the sword from Valia to the Deadfire. Hinderly caught her, slew her, and took Bereth's weapon for warding.
Yeah, Beyond Divinity should have been good, but
Rivan wouldn't keep dead.
alas, they got fucked by the
From
publisher.
sheer will and faith, she ris a monster, able to breed an army of undead. Turned Death Guard, Rivan sailed with her undead army in her foulsome Fonferros. I tried to end them for good, but the battle turned against me. I tracked the ship's comings and caught a regular trail. So I sailed to meet Rivan near the shadows of Dusk and Isle, unawaited. A far fog neared despite the good winds. Rivan's ship crept from the mist. The winds died off, the waters calmed, and the ghost ship routed my ambush. 'Twas a slaughter. I was mort wounded, but fled with Bereth's weapon, the Engoliero dos Spears. Came to the temple of Nekataka to be buried. But I couldn't leave the sword unwarded, so I begged Bereth for another chance to serve my cause. I refused to die.
Mage Knight. Never seen that one. I've come to take the Engoliero de Espers.
The weapon cannot be allowed out in Aora. Needed to ward it for all time. But I cannot keep it from the undead if I'm not undead myself.
With her Darkosi sword, I can draw Rivan out for her final demise. His pale bone fingers clench a tight grip on the weapon's hilt.
Think you're deserving, do you? But in what way should I trust you now?
How will the Kith learn from the gods if we forever hide their truths in forgotten tombs?
I nae con any more about the ways of Kith, but a world without the gods' direction is doomed.
The towering skeleton cracks his head from side to side.
You can wield this weapon, aye, for a time. And first you'll swear a blood oath to return it.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Now your troth has been marked before Bereth, and your fate thisly sealed.
There it is. Okay. Neverwinter Nights is one you want to replay through. I am not a fan of that game. At all. That's right up there with Might and Magic 9, Ultima 9, Gothic 3 is like the most disappointing RPG ever made.
How'd you come by that
God, I hate that game.
I found myself in a rather perilous situation with a band of Dargools.
Dargles can be real nasty. You're lucky that's all you got to show for it.
I certainly gave them worse. Not to boast, of course.
If it had full party control, I would definitely look at it again, yeah. But as it is, it's so bad. The campaign sucks, the story's terrible, the quests are terrible, the dungeons are terrible. Dungeons & Dragons was never designed to be played with one character, so playing as a single character is just terrible. I hate that game. I hate everything about Neverwinter Nights. I hate it so much. Fuck that game. I should take the weapon to sea and speak those words. Do I have to, like, go on the deck of my ship or something? Speak the oath. There it is. You got further into Descent to Undermountain than the Neverwinter campaign. Damn. The Engoliero de Espers pulses in your grip, thrumming with power. It rattles in its sheath, and for the first time in 200 years, the blade is drawn free. You wield the sword as your voice echoes across the ocean, eerily rising in volume rather than fading. Blah, blah, blah. White fog, cold as the grave, churns up from the sea. It swells up and over the sides of the Vesuvius right as you hear the sound of a galleon approaching. The groaning of centuries rotted wood, turns into the groaning of the undead. While the galleon flanks you, Lucia Rivan cuts you a look through the thick fog, her fleshless face lit by the flames burning in her hollowed eye sockets. Then the Death Guard and her skeletal sailors are boarding your ship, coming for the sword, coming for you. Yeah, I never played Neverwinter multiplayer. As a single-player game, it's the drizzling shits. I can tell you that much. The expansions have a better campaign, like the dungeons are better, the quests are better, and all that, but it's still single character D&D, and it still sucks. A group of rabid undead swarm for your ship, but then abruptly they halt, rippling as they part for their captain. With sure, heavy striking strides, Riven approaches. She stops short, fiery eyes peering into you, burning through you. Sorry, I don't speak dumb fuck. Lucia Riven, I'm hereby commandeering your ship.
You wish to steal the Fonferrus and the Ingoliero do Espirs from my control? Insolent bag of flesh! The only way you shall step foot on this ship is as one of my crew.
Well, the floating hangman has a new captain now.
No, she's about to have a new first mate.
Why did it mess up my party order again? Anyway, power, missile swarm. There we go. We now have ourselves a ghost boat. With the last of the undead slain, the floating hangman is now yours for the taking. Standing at the helm of the floating hangman, you signal your boatswain to head out to sea. Winds rip through the tattered sails, rotting wood groans as the ship picks up speed. Ghost boat. Wow, none of my crew got hurt. That's surprising. Wow, this boat kind of sucks. It's only got 4 guns. Lame. I can't even change the pieces. This boat really sucks. God damn. Oh well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Guess we better go return the sword since we swore a blood oath to a god that we were gonna do it. Yeah, you can always play it, form your own opinion. I mean, lots of people like Neverwinter Nights. I'm just not one of them. That's a game I'm unlikely to ever play on stream. Neverwinter Nights 2, on the other hand, I liked quite a bit. That one we might do. Yeah, it's not very entertaining playing a single character. You get one AI companion who will follow you around and do terrible things because the AI is not very good. So I usually play as a cleric, recruit a thief so you can pick locks. There you go. That's the game.
How fares, brother?
Come to return your sacred charge.
Takes a brave soul to relinquish such a rare and deadly weapon. I'm ready to resume warding it then. If you're ready to relinquish it.
It's a good sword and all, but maybe it's best not to owe Bareth any more favors.
I'm inclined to go with Adair's advice.
I warn ye. Don't think you can keep both the weapon and your life. Not forever.
You can have it.
Bareth be thanked.
I don't need it. Alright. Time to go to Ukaizo and finish the game, I think. Oh, I have to go back to Dunnage first. Okay. See, I don't have any quests I care about doing. This would be interesting if I could figure out where it is. I have no idea where this is, though. Oh, here, southeast of Nekataka. Somehow missed that. Okay, let's go see if we can find that, because we got plenty of time. But I do want to finish this today. Well, this might be... maybe that's the place. Unless it's like down here. Anyway, that's... What the hell? This is not what I was expecting to find. Okay. A series of flimsy docks connect scattered stretches of dry land. On all sides, you are flanked by the hulks of splintered wrecked ships. A thick fog sits upon the water, obscuring the path in all directions. The only sounds you hear are the lapping of water and your own footsteps upon the narrow, rotting planks. The eerie quiet is broken by the barking of a dog somewhere off to your left. Whistle for the dog. Your whistle is met with renewed barking, and then a sharp whine, abrupt and shrill. After several moments of silence, you hear a running tread upon the docks. A dog bounds from the fog, its dark fur matted with blood. Two figures stumble after the hound, their maws stained red. Out of the fog they are revealed for what they are, withered, rotting, human only in silhouette, gargoyles. They halt, swaying at the sight of you, but make no further move. From the darkness of the fog, a third robed figure emerges, a twisted staff raised high in their hands. A flash of light emerges from the staff. As you look on, runes seared into the gargoyles' foreheads flare to life, glimmering like beacons in the darkness. Snarling, the gargoyles rush for you, their blood-slicked claws slicing at the air. We found like some kind of town of the undead or something. Apparently we're in Silent Hill, yeah. Just need a siren.
Say your prayers.
Hey, Davidil, thanks for the host. Much appreciated. Welcome to Davidil's viewers. Were you streaming some more Ultima 5 there? Vampire Quarterstaff. Calls upon the power of the grave, charming vessels and frightening kith. Interesting. Hey, Solid Snack, how's it going, man? Oh, you got the Crown of Lord British, right on.
I hear you.
Good stuff. You guys should go check out Davidil's stream if you get a chance. He streams old RPGs. He's going through the Ultima games. So a Solid Snack for that matter. Although I haven't seen Solid Snack stream in a while. Been waiting for the Ultima 6 streams and they never come. Unless I missed them. It's entirely possible that I missed them. Don't say it. Okay. Sorry I said anything. Oh. Yeah, this place looks creepy. It's some kind of like town of the undead. It's kind of weird.
How cozy.
Each blade is pitted through with rust. Rainwater is gathered in these jugs, and these in turn fill the ship with their briny odor.
I've got it.
These cuirasses have been picked over for parts. The pages nearby are covered
On it.
in scroll designs for Helm. Oh, we found a poor little puppy hiding in the undead town. 5% hits convert to grazes. You hoping to get Ultima 6 started today or tomorrow? Right on, man. Right on, right on. Wait, you said you were going to do like the FM Towns version, though. Up on the balcony, a tall and lanky figure waits frantically for your attention. That done, he ducks down again behind the railing. It is not an effective hiding place.
This is not right. Not by a long shot.
Okay, there's undead here that aren't attacking me for some reason.
Looks like we have someone new in town.
Hey, lost kitty cat.
Well, hello there.
The woman greets you with a cheery smile, the effect of which is marred somewhat by her only having half a face. She scrubs, unperturbed, at some glasses.
Guessing you just came in.
As she speaks, you notice a strange mark upon her forehead, a kind of symbol, or rune. What's that symbol on your forehead?
What? Have I got something on?
She turns her glass, frowning at her reflection. Seeing nothing of note, she shrugs and gives you a wry look.
Help yourself to some ale while you're waiting. Zuka ought to be here soon with the day's catch.
Okay.
Just arrived. I'll wager you've a thirst. Drink, sir?
Man at the bar goes about his business in merry defiance of the fact that he appears to be semi-decomposed. Behind him, a dwarf hangs upside down over a barrel. Blood streams down into the bucket from a wound in his wrist. From time to time, the dwarf twitches feebly.
Ain't got much on the menu, truth be told, but an ale ought to hold you over until Zolka and her people turn up with supplies. Then you can enjoy the catch of the day.
The FM Towns version of Ultima 6 Enough Jet is fully voice acted.
Here, newcomer.
The voice acting is, it's something. He pours from a nearby pitcher, filling a goblet with an unmistakable red liquid, thick and dark. The coppery odor hits your nostrils with force. The barkeeper slides the goblet across the bar towards you. I'm not drinking a cup of blood. I'm not drinking that.
What? How dare you? My ale's the best in the Deadfire.
The barkeeper snatches back the goblet, fixing a scowl on you that's all the more horrific for his grisly aspect. What the hell? What the hell have we found here? This place is fucked up. This is the guy who's trying to talk to us, right?
Good. I thought for sure you'd wander off. Get yourself into trouble.
The man before you, or creature perhaps, as his skin is as grayed and withered as that of the other patrons, wears a helmet 2 sizes too large for him. It tips from side to side as his head moves.
I'm Copperhead. That's what they call me. Friendly nicknames. You know how it is. I know you're different from the others. I can see it.
What are those strange runes? Everyone in here seems to have one.
Oh, right. Have a look.
He tips the helmet back just far enough that you can start to see the outline of a rune upon his forehead.
Not you, eh? You stick out like a cat in a kennel.
He simpers nervously, eyes darting left and right.
It's not safe here. Not where everyone's looking, listening. I have a house, out on the outskirts. They don't mind me keeping to myself. We can talk there.
Very well, I'll meet you there.
Look out for the ones in charge. Them with the staffs. They spy you, things will get bad in a hurry. Zulka, especially she. I have to go.
A woman strides into the tavern bearing a staff whose ornamental head glows with arcane energy. She strikes the staff upon the ground once, and the tavern fills with eerie light as the runes carved upon each vessel's forehead begins to glow. Zulka mutters something under her breath, and a faint aura ripples around the 2 bound kiths standing behind her. That done, she makes a sweeping gesture of the arm with all the showmanship of a theater performer.
Menzago has brought you a feast, my friends. Livestock and game. Tonight, we eat well.
Everyone in the tavern cheers as the kith are carted into a back room.
Copperhead, you are not staying for the celebration?
Copperhead freezes mid-slink, grinning insipidly.
Not today, Zulka. I've had my fill, really. Another mouthful and I'll split down the seams.
He bobs his head in a feeble bow, then scuttles away, so his attention drifts back toward the crowd. Alright.
got trouble, folks.
This is about to get interesting.
Enemies ahead.
The vampire's gaze falls upon you, and for an instant it seems that she will overlook your presence. Then her eyes narrow, and she raises her staff with a great, violent motion.
Look here. Someone a little too eager to climb into the stew pot.
Yeah, the Japanese are big on wizardry and Ultima, that's for sure. Yet they seem to have a hard time making games that are as good as either of those. All around you, lights flare above the furrowed brows of the gathered vessels. The tavern patrons slump into feral positions, their eyes blank and insensate, their jaws gnashing. As one, they lunge toward you. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay. Not as scary as I was expecting that to be. That was kind of pathetic. Vampire quarterstaff, another one. Yeah, they got fucked up. That was kind of ridiculous. Oh, we're not done. Okay.
That's it. I shall deal with this one. That's it.
Sorry, friend. Can't. Take a gander over there.
Sweet redemption.
Yeah, we're a little over-leveled for this. The vampire stuff lets me charm enemies temporarily in combat.
Sure.
According to the description, anyway.
On it.
Hi, fellas. The captive's mouth is gagged with a tight bandana. A loop of iron is bolted around her neck with a glowing emblem wrought into the metal at the joint. She struggles to speak to you, but manages only a muffled, garbled yell. Examine the iron collar. You can't make sense of the symbol, much less whatever spellcraft might be at work. Remove the gag. The woman takes a few gasping breaths for air before lowering her voice to a conspiratorial whisper.
What in blazes is going on? Have you seen those monsters?
Any chance you sailed on the Antelope?
What? No, and I never thought to hear the name again. Was it Lofel sent you? Thought he was a shifty old bastard. Guess I misjudged him. We were sailing under Lofel, captain of the Antelope, and making good time. A clear sky and a good wind until, out of nowhere, this fog bank rolled in. Then, a great hulk came gliding through the water towards us, nearly stove us there and then. The floating hangman. I got hit so hard it surprised me to wake up again. But the next thing I knew, those things were carting me and Kasungo down the road. Daimo here started hollering, and they all but cracked his skull in two. I have to get him back to Fort Deadlight. You've gotten past them. Help us do the same.
The way's clear, you can go.
Our gratitude, stranger. Come by Fort Deadlight sometime, and we'll give you a grand welcome. Though, mayhaps we'll follow your ship a while. Wouldn't do to get caught again.
Hey, Amasigo, how you doing, man? Alright. Can't rest here. Well. Finally the weekend. Yep. Oh fuck. They just charmed my fucking druid. He's just turned into a shark. Why do they call them vampires? I don't know. Same reason they call Ettins Eotins. They just felt the need to, like, rename stuff people know. See, it's totally different. The name's not the same. That's not a ghoul, it's a Darghoul. It's not a vampire, it's a vampire. Oh, wow. Oh, you're in rough shape. Yeah, there was JRPGs that predate consoles even really being a thing. Hydlide. I tried playing Hydlide once.
I've got it.
Didn't go very well. I think I equipped my starting equipment, the stuff they start you with, like leather armor and a weapon, and I was so overloaded I couldn't walk. I was like, oh, it's one of those games.
I smell coffee.
Rest here? We can rest here. Nice.
Next time, a challenge.
So I'm supposed to meet that one guy at his house, but he didn't say where his place actually was.
Nothing.
Ow.
Enemies.
Oh fuck. Oh good, we get hit by the trap, everyone gets wounded. And then we get jumped. There we go. Yeah, I used to be really into JRPGs when I was a kid, but I have a really hard time playing them nowadays. They're so just like bland, repetitive. But yeah, some of their wizardry clones are okay, like the Elminage. I haven't played Stranger in the Sword City, but I've heard good things about it. Stuff like that's fine, but like traditional JRPGs, like, I don't know.
I've got it.
I don't know, just not for me. Not anymore.
Oh, worry not. I am good with my hands. That will do nicely.
Yeah, I haven't played 15. 13 was fucking atrocious, though. I couldn't believe how bad Final Fantasy 13 was. That game was just... Jesus Christ. But I played the demo for 15, and... no thanks. I'm sure there's an audience for a game like that somewhere, but I am not it.
Hey, don't struggle. I'll fill your hands.
Rune Master Castor. Is this like the boss? Final Fantasy 12 is the one with Van. I actually like 12 quite a bit. 12 was the last Final Fantasy game I enjoyed. This guy's got a lot of health. Let's see how he likes this.
Can't make it down.
This is futile! That's not very helpful.
There we go. Some of the Tales games are good, some of them are not. It's a very inconsistent series, from what I've played anyway. Last one I played was
What say?
What was the first one to hit PC? Cestria or Berseria or something? I don't know. Came out a couple years ago. I didn't like it that much. But I did like Symphonia back in the day. Tales of the Abyss was pretty good. Final Fantasy X was just, I hate that game too. I feel like that game, everything Final Fantasy 13 did wrong, Final Fantasy did wrong in the exact same way. Final Fantasy 13 felt like Final Fantasy X-3 basically. Super linear, crappy mechanics, horrifyingly awful characters. Could not stand that game. Valkyria Chronicles is fantastic, MSEGO. It's really, really good. The brazier doesn't appear to hold any obvious mechanism for lighting itself, but you notice a basin at its base that is coated with dried blood. Pour vampire blood into the basin. As you pour the foul-smelling liquid into the basin, it drains away into the depths of the brazier. You hear a faint rumbling, though you cannot be sure from where it comes. All at once, the brazier flares to life, its flames casting dancing shadows upon the surrounding walls.
Will do.
Guess we only have one vial, we gotta find another one.
No need to ask twice.
Yeah, from what I've only played the first one, but from what I hear, Valkyria Chronicles 2 is pretty bad, and then the third one is okay, but still not as good as the first one. But the first one's great.
Take him down. That must have...
I've got a friend who's really into Ni no Kuni, and he's got pretty good taste, so consider that a pseudo recommendation. I haven't played it myself yet, though. Ow, ow, ow.
We got trouble, folks.
Quartermaster Harga. This guy probably has the other vial of blood we need. Kenojo VR. I don't even think I want to know what that is.
Hey, watch it.
Why does this thing taking no damage? He's dead now. Die! Lufia. Lufia 2 is actually really, really good. The first Lufia is it's nothing special, but the sequel is a really good game. Like, really, really good. Interesting.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lufia 1 is like it's like a discount Dragon Quest knockoff, but Lufia 2 is like really fucking good. It's one of my favorite JRPGs. It's one of the only JRPGs I've ever played that has like a really, really good dungeon design.
I hear you.
Like actual puzzles to solve, interesting combat, cool leveling system. There's like the monster training stuff. You got like a giant super dungeon that's procedurally generated. Like, that game's really, really good. Yeah, Japanese strategy RPGs are way better than regular ones. I agree. Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Ogre, all that stuff. Vandal Hearts. Alright. Shining Force is really good, yeah. Ogre Battle. Good stuff all around. Okay, this looks like we're in for a big showdown here. What is a man? A literal miserable pile of secrets. In contrast to the numerous vessels you have seen within the crypt, the robed man who sits upon the nearby throne boasts every semblance of life. Only the pallor of his skin and the cloying odor of decay suggest anything to the contrary. His fingers drum a steady tattoo against the thick, weathered grimoire he carries.
When my hunters informed me that there was a disturbance in the crypt, I looked out over the water, and there it was, a sail, a ship. For that instant, it was as if my heart skipped a beat. You can appreciate the irony there, perhaps. I must assume, of course, that you have escaped from someone's dinner plate.
I have a complaint to make to the chef.
Ha! Belfetto. Ac, someone will pay for this, I can assure you.
Yeah, I've never played the Shining Force 3. But,
Decades
the first
of
two.
work, undone by a nazenale. I have few hobbies with which to fill these long hours, and now I am denied even this. I, who was second in command to the great captain Lucia Rivan. Until the day came that I was charged to perch here and maintain her forces until she should call upon me again. A century of waiting while she sailed freely upon the sea. E così. But why not enjoy my stay?
Hate to break it to you, but I killed Lucia Rivan. I sailed her here on her boat, which is now my boat, and I've killed all your forces.
I have
Is that what
crafted
you
my
do?
own little empire. Do not think I have forgotten my duty. I gave dear Rivan a part in my little mythology. Our glorious founder. But it is my little paradise, and you have no part in it, but that of livestock. Those horns we can use to decorate the tavern.
I carved my way up here. I'll do the same to you.
Ah, certainly. You are a bright little spark, aren't you? Not long ago, I might have endeavored to convince you to join us. There are means. But now I know that you could serve no greater purpose than to further my own. You may have cost me valuable allies, but we have, all of us, been here a long time. I have others at my command. I need only summon them. I'll
kill you and every last one of your deranged minions. Zako makes the smallest motion, a slight wave of the hand, and the orb within the nearby platform sizzles and hisses as if it's been plunged into embers. A chorus of anguished howls rises along the southern face of the cliff. Oh yeah.
That wasn't it. That's it.
Alright, there we go. Nice try, motherfucker. That's it?
I hear you.
You didn't have any unique loot on him, just the same fucking quarterstaff they all have? That's lame.
I've got it. Will do.
A sphere floats before you, bobbing under the force of its own magical power. Its ruby surface is as sleek and smooth as glass lit from within with a powerful arcane aura. You can feel that energy press against its confines, shattering the orb would free it, though what effect that might have you are not certain. Destroy the orb. You strike the glass, cracks appear in the surface, spreading with a discordant crackle. All at once the orb shatters, and the energy it held bursts outward in a radiant flare of light.
So everybody can go back to being normal, hungry monsters.
Alright then. Well, that was interesting. That fight seems to trigger the memory leak hard, though the frame rate's going to complete shit here. Again. So, do we have anything left to do? Speak with Copperhead. I don't know where Copperhead actually is. Is he here? Copperhead.
Oh, good, you're here.
Yep.
You did it! Look!
Holding the helmet in one hand, Copperhead reaches up to wrap the side of his head with the other.
I heard some strange noises. Took some time to work up the nerve, but I took the helmet off and I've kept me wits.
I killed Mizago and shattered the orb. His spell's broken.
You can't know what this means. I had a long time to get my head right. Figure out what I was. Make peace with that. Maybe it'd be different if everyone else had the same chance. Not sure what I'll do now. At least I know for sure I ain't mad. Here. I don't need this thing anymore. Maybe it'll be some use to you.
Thanks.
You're the one to fix things. Since I'm sticking around, I owe you one. I figure Splintered Reef's where I belong. Another shipwreck of a kind. With Benzago and the others gone, there won't be cause to bring more kith out this way. Decent note to end on.
There we go. Spider silk robe. Immune to dexterity afflictions. Copperhead's helmet. Minus 20% damage taken from spells. Minus 8 accuracy with spells. Oh. I was like, hey, that seems pretty good. Oh. Never mind. It might be... The extra engage is really good.
Yeah.
Like I said, as soon as I finish the game, that's when the patch will come out. That's the way it always happens. I can buy supplies here? Really? Huh. I remember when I finished Divinity Original Sin, literally the day after, the big patch came out that added, like, the ability to sort your inventory by category. That would have been so nice. I was like, what? Alright. Let's make a quick stop at Nikitaka to turn this quest in. I'm just curious what we get for doing it, if anything. And then we will go to Ukaizo and finish this motherfucker off. Wasteland 2 dropped a big patch, yeah. I think the worst for me was Stalker, the first Stalker game. I was playing that unpatched, which it was buggy as hell. And then they released a giant patch when I was like maybe 20-25 hours into the game, but it invalidated your save file. So if you installed the patch, you had to start over again. So I was just like, I guess I'm just going to beat the game unpatched. And I did. That was an interesting game to play play without any patching. But I did it, and the game is beatable without patches, which is more than you can say for some of those games. Yeah, it's like, invalidate save game. Oh, fuck. That's great. Jesus Christ. The frame rate. Hopefully this big patch fixes the memory leak. This game, it runs fine when you first load it up, and then as you play, it just...
Welcome back. How might I assist you? Wow. I've always wondered what was over there. I made a list. Fire giants, giant fire ants. Fire snakes wasn't on there. Wait. This means you've done it. You've really done it. Oh, I could kiss you.
Don't.
This is going to put both our names in the history books. I am sure of it.
He really doesn't know who he's talking to, does he?
I'm nearly done putting everything together. Come back later and I'll give you the very first copy of the Explorer's Guide to the Deadfire. great explorer returns. Here, your very own copy of the book, as promised. How might I assist you?
$7,000. That was the reward for mapping every single island in the game. Clear Sky. You know, I've finished Stalker, I've finished Call of Pripyat, I've never been able to finish Clear Sky. I've tried playing through it 3 different times, on 3 different computers, with community patches and everything, and I always run into the same story-breaking, like, bug where I can't progress through the game. It drives me nuts. I'd love to finish Clear Sky, but I've just... Every time, this one guy's like... supposed to talk to this guy in prison, and I go into the prison and he just won't talk to me. He just stands there. And I like went and watched other people's playthroughs to see if I missed something, you know, what am I doing wrong? It's just broken. Just too bad. But I did finish the other 2. Fort Deadlight. Wait, no, that's not where we're going. We have to go to Dunwich, right? Yeah, Dunwich. It's so freaking hot, Jesus Christ. Okay.
I'll happily lend you my ear, and my sword, and other things.
I am captain of the Floating Hangman.
I knew you were the only captain who could take it. You are more than worthy of your chair on the council. The Principe are ready to sail for Ukaizo. Me and my fleet will reconvene with you outside Andra's Mortar. Until then, lovesome.
All right. So let's save, quit here, and reset the memory leak. Shouldn't have to wait too long. I went and deleted a crap ton of save files to reduce the time for the Steam Cloud Sync. So just go wait for the game to actually, you know, close here. Come on. Hello. There we go. Oh, I love those King's Bounty games, the new ones. Those are so good. Really, really good games. I haven't played the 4th one, the one where you're like a vampire or whatever. I haven't had a chance to play it though, but the other 3, really good. Okay, it's still taking forever to sync. Never mind. Legend and Armor Princess, yep. Warriors of the North is pretty good too. If you like those, you should definitely check it out. Okay. Yeah, Witcher games are fun. Although I'm a weirdo who thinks the first game's the best one. I might be the only person on planet Earth who actually thinks that, but yeah, I enjoyed all three of them. Why can I not? Weird. You haven't played Witcher 3 yet? It's pretty good. It's got a little bit of Ubisoftification though, with just the giant world full of pointless, repetitive crap to do, but there's a lot of good stuff in that game. Potato internet. Just set up the download when you go to bed, and it'll be ready when you wake up. There's plenty of ocean to sail and many lands to explore, but what lies ahead of you dwarfs them all. Should you choose to sail on, you suspect there should be no return. Not to the Deadfire you have come to know. So this is it. Point of no return. I don't think there's anything else interesting for us to do, so let's go onward here. Yeah, see, the thing is, The Witcher 1's combat I like the best of the three, because it's the only one of the three where it's like an actual RPG, where your victory is determined by your stats, your equipment, your tactics, and your preparation in terms of like potions and oils and bombs and stuff. Whereas Witcher 2 and 3 are trying to be action games, and they're really bad action games. At least Witcher 1 still has like RPG combat. It's kind of goofy combat, it's not like super good, but I'll take that over terrible action game combat any day of the week. Andra's mortar rages on the horizon, a vast wall of roiling clouds and rain, punctuated by the silver flicker of lightning. The wind pushes against you, as if to ward whatever lies beyond from Funferris's approach. Funferris leads the fleet, crashing through the turbulent waters like an axe through armor. God's alive, Beadle mutters, staring up at the storm. Oblivion, ugh. Elder Scrolls in general, really? You don't need to call it that one specifically. Every Elder Scrolls is terrible combat. Or the Mad blinks at the blackening sky. Knew an old salt once who claimed the border were the edge of the world. I called him a fool. Now, though? The navigator's head shakes sadly. No, I ain't so certain. Head bowed slightly, Eld Engrim smiles. Today is as good a day as any to learn what the gods have in store for us. Shit, Captain, one of the hands cries. Hostile vessels inbound to forward port. With a shake of the head, Beadle emits a grim chuckle. Suppose it'd be too much to ask to be let alone out here. The bright banners of the Juana flutter above the equally vivid hulls of their ships, each standing out in stark contrast against the looming storm. The approaching fleet numbers at least as many ships as your own, maybe more. Beadle frowns against the wind. The fleet's turning, Captain, setting their gun ports against the enemy. The hands look to you from their stations. Beadle's eyes hold yours. The crew stands ready. What are the captain's orders? We could just say to hell with it and just leave everybody to fight each other. Yeah, you know what? Fuck all y'all. The deck presses against your feet as Funferris comes about. The thunder of cannon fire vying with the thunder continuously rolling from the mortar. Your ship straightens and the bow pointed directly into the storm. You lurch forward as the deck pitches violently. You grab the aft rail to keep from going overboard. Beneath you, just below the surface of the water, swims some immense creature. It moves towards the battle, the water curling back like parted skin on either side of the beast to reveal a monstrosity not of flesh, but of slick audra and gleaming metal. The surface of the water bulges, then bursts, and with a roar, like the crash of the surf, a dragon explodes from the water. The familiar scaled form of Skyrelphus sweeps low, wings outstretched just above the white-tipped waves, before spraying its briny breath over the metallic monster. The monstrosity turns on the sea dragon, and they slam into one another, tearing at each other with tooth and fang. Essence pours off the pair as they pound one another with their abilities at point blank. Or the mad gape, sweet, merciful Andra, I was not expecting that. Mess that bastard up good, shouts Arena. The hand turns back, pointing. Did you see that? We got a goddamn dragon. Go, now, while I hold the attention of these beings. Skyrelphus' voice echoes among your thoughts. Our debts are cleared, Watcher. You take the wheel and turn Funfair's toward the storm. Andra's mortar looms before and above you, dominating the whole world. Rain begins to fall. The storms of Andra's mortar encompass the visible horizon. Hurricane winds roar like an imprisoned beast, blowing with enough force to warp the very seas. Past the curtain of rain and above the swell of the waves, you could just barely perceive the outline of colossal Adra pillars. No sooner does your spectral ship drift near the turbulent waters of Andra's mortar than a deadly calm falls over the sea. The wind cuts off as swiftly as a god holding their breath. Like a silken sheet, the water flattens before you, the wake of your passage forming a lone crease in its uninterrupted perfection. Wreathed in a ghostly mist, you drift onward at the pace of a funerary procession. The storm holds its silence and maintains a respectful distance. Though you cannot shake the feeling of sorrow and wrongness which pervades your journey, you successfully cross to the far side of Andra's mortar and breathe a sigh of relief. An island towers over that distant horizon, Kaizo. Ornate spires reach up from the island, hinting at the city within. Not all of Okaizo has weathered the millennia with equal grace. Other structures jut and lean out of the surrounding shallows, making the waters around the island impassable by ship. You resolve to take a skiff the rest of the way. Well, we've heard about Ukaizo for the whole game, and we're finally here. And I suspect we're getting right into a boss fight, because this looks like a boss arena. The Obsidian went full BioWare with this game. Oh, I guess it beat the dragon. Okay. It's a Power Ranger monster. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Looks like a Pokemon. Yeah, there you go. The creature stares down at you with only dim recognition of your presence. Water drips down the tip of its mallet-like head.
Whoa, that's where would you even stab something like that?
Well, you're about to find out.
What manner of creature is this?
Hikara. And I thought I was the master of first impressions.
I'm not too proud to admit when I'm scared. Terrified, actually.
The construct turns to the sound of speech, showing only dim awareness of the meaning. It swivels its head back around to face you.
So alone. Never alone. Exokaizo breached.
A voice paws at your mind in a clumsy, unpracticed fashion. You feel something like the mental equivalent of a squint. Yeah, by a colossal god made of Adra. Where have you been?
Here. We have been here. Where are the gates of Okaizo?
The construct rolls its gaze toward the city.
We guard the silence of Okaizo. You are a disturbance.
Bronze plates grind together with a discordant shriek. I'm just trying to reach Aethys. He's the one you want.
Aethys has disturbed the bones of Okaizo. The old pacts permit him to pass, but you will go no further. Okaizo is closed. The gates are barred.
A wave of heat emanates from the Guardian. Before we sell this, I want answers about Okaizo.
Our covenant with the Old Ones does not forbid questions. The son of Ngati deserves to carry truth to Barath's wheel.
I do not plan on joining my mother in the beyond this day, Ancient One.
The chosen people of the Deadfire called a Kaizo home. The outsiders were their contemporaries, full of wisdom, ingenuity, and terrifying ambition.
That sure sounds like the Ingwithans. Guess they got around.
The outsiders passed from the world. None of them remain.
Not all of them passed, but we got the one they left behind.
The construct fixes its error with a quiet mixture of irritation and curiosity. Finally, it steers its focus back to you.
The old ones and the outsiders traded, collaborated, learned, and built together. Outsiders augured the doom of the old ones. The rift unmade them both.
And what caused the rift?
The outsiders coveted ancient Ukaizo. Its occupation was a hindrance. Machines were built on a foundation of outsider lies. When the machines were nearly done, the outsiders constructed bodies of flesh and bone.
Bodies?
Skeletons, now. Their remains littering Great Ukaizo.
And what were these machines?
Ones which drew the spirits of the dead through a sieve. Finally, the outsiders fashioned a guardian to stand vigil over their work. Our bond with the old ones compelled us to trust their allies. They offered us a trade, eternal life for eternal service. We were ordered to slam shut the gates of Ukaizo for all time.
And the Ingwithans turned this thing against my ancestors?
Necessary, son of Ngati.
And what happened when the machines went active?
The outsiders vanished from the world, leaving the old ones dumbfounded. Quiet gave way to chaos. Storms battered the seas. The sleeping hearts of mountains awoke with fury. When the last screams of the old ones faded, only we remained.
So no one has been here since the devastation?
None but the green colossus whose every footstep disturbs tranquility. You are the first kith to visit the shores of Lost Ukaizo, and you will be the last. Now you know, and nothing you have learned can spare you from our obligation. May your journey through the wheel be an informed one.
Hey, Takehu, let's say we dismantle the creature that stood by and watched the downfall of the Huana.
Kara, let it be so.
Your principles do you credit, but you have sailed here to die. The silence of Ukaizo will be restored. Time will dismantle your bones.
Nodding, construct attacks. Really? Is this the end boss? If this is the end boss, this is pretty pathetic. It's like they didn't establish a villain through the game, so just at the end a giant fucking Pokemon monster appears and attacks. Apparently he's chasing my spell. Oh good, ads. Great. Of course it's not a one-on-one fight. That might actually be fun. Just throw out a Pokeball. Yeah. Is it dead? Are you fucking serious? One empowered level 9 missile spell killed it. Oh my god, what the fuck was that? Oh, Jesus Christ. Maybe it's not the end boss, maybe. Either way, for, you know, the great guardian of Ukaizo, that was pretty fucking pathetic. Oh, man. Yeah, it has multiple phases. As we walk away, it's going to reassemble itself into a new form. Yeah. You cast Minoleta's missile salvo. It's super effective.
Yes, if you insist.
That's how the Pokemon joke goes, right? I've never actually played a Pokemon game, so... Well, we got multiple places. Okay, maybe there'll be like an actual... and a proper end boss. Maybe we get to fight Aothis' giant foot. Boss fight against his big toe. Kill the toe! One spell! Oh my god.
This way since the age of my ancestors?
Erosion has softened the bronze features, giving the proud statue a brooding air.
I've got it.
Descending into the city would be suicide while the relentless storm rages on. Oh, everybody wants to talk now. Great.
I got time.
Why?
I like that feeling, knowing we'd stop Theos. We were part of something big. That was something I never felt before. Not even at war. Guess I went looking for it again. Not that I wanted to tangle with gods, but something smaller. Something I thought I could manage. There was that little town, Deerford, we passed through. Got hit real hard by the legacy. I went in and asked their mayor if I could help. And he was real friendly. But then it turned out he was in that Scanite cult they have over there. And when I wasn't looking, he tried to knock me out with a garden hoe. Guess he wanted to drain my blood or gouge out my eyes with rocks or whatever it is they do. Didn't ask. Anyway, I came out of his house carrying his head and well, I got to be mayor after that.
Seems like a legitimate election process.
They didn't even want to do an election. I said, if you're sure, and they all nodded, kinda quick-like.
How were you as mayor?
Some of it I was good at. Welcoming people. Getting them to settle there, keeping order.
You went for a full multi-class party?
But there were other things I had no head for. Negotiating, settling arguments, saying the right things. I think I made a difference, but plenty of folks got hurt along the way. I don't know if that was something we could have avoided, or if it was the cost of trying to fix things. Hey, look who it is.
You got more? Let's talk about the kid that you have nothing to do with.
Don't think there's much to say.
I agree.
He was alone. Got talked into believing in something that sounded good to him. We couldn't talk him out of it. Another soul torn away by Aothis, whether or not he meant it.
What? Why does he still have a dialogue thing? There's nothing else to talk about.
It doesn't seem much powerful, if you like. I like that. Not that I guess anyway. They didn't even want to.
Whatever. Jody wants to talk to me. I don't care. I'm not talking to her.
Captain, just look at where we are. There's no time to waste, I say.
Do you need something?
I don't care what any of them have to say, to be honest. Let's just move on. A furious storm obscures the sprawling city below, but you can make out the shape of distant spires reaching up from the flooded ruins. Spirit winds tug on your soul with insistence, like a stern hand trying to pull a cloak from your back. You recall the last time you encountered a bioac. It feels a lifetime ago. So, here we are. You look to those who accompanied you this far, who risked everything to face the confrontation ahead. How are you feeling about this, Adair? Adair's gaze wanders among the glittering archways and half-clapped spires, his mouth agape.
Gilded Vale got its name from the way the wheat fields used to look in the sun. But this place... This place really is gilded. Might as well be a different world.
Much prettier than Sun and Shadow.
Yeah. Seems they had a whole different way of looking at things. I'd say I like this one better, but the truth is, neither one seems any closer to me. These great people got a funny way of passing on. They disappear from the world, but leave their problems behind for the rest of us to deal with.
At least Aothis seems to be trying to correct that. That's why we're here. We're going to face this. Whatever comes, we're going to see people through.
I guess maybe that's one good thing that's come out of this. Well, at least for me. I got something to do with my life that doesn't involve hauling or shoveling. I even got a friend or two out of it. The whole world's about to face the biggest test it ever saw. What Aothis is doing, it's gonna change everything. We may not survive. Kith, I mean. You know, I broke a wheel once too. First thing I thought of when we learned what Aothis was doing. My mom had this spinning wheel, and she loved it. Well, I was playing with it in the way a young child might when his parents are out, and that wheel came right off. It wouldn't go back into place, so I pushed it harder, and pretty soon I'd broken off a spoke. Broke off 3 more trying to fix that. Anyway, I got whipped pretty good for it. That wheel was never the same, even after my dad fixed it. I used to think of the gods as being like parents to all of us. Now I know better. They're children, playing while their folks are gone.
What does Aloth have to say?
5 years ago, you controlled the destiny of thousands of souls in Sun and Shadow. But the choice you make today shall define the fate of every living thing in Aora.
What do you think I should do?
And to think of all the times I've asked you the same question. I suppose if it were up to me, I'd want to ensure that Kith are free to define their own future. To triumph or fail by our own decisions. But it isn't up to me. We haven't always seen eye to eye, but I hope you'll consider the matter well and choose wisely. For all our sakes.
Oh god, what the fuck does Jody have to say?
We gonna do this or what? We've made it this far, yet we're still alive. Might as well square off with my god before our luck runs dry.
No matter what happens with Aothis, you've got my back, right? She doesn't answer for so long that you think she's not going to. Then she taps her bloodstained sickle against her thigh.
Sure do. If Gone wants you dead, I figure he can do it himself. Besides, the part of him that's been stomping through the Deadfire didn't much help me at Malgren's teeth. Tell me, Watcher, can there be a god of light and birth if souls themselves can no longer be reborn?
Think we can reason with him?
It didn't work so good at Malgren's teeth, no. But sure, we can try to sway my god's will again. Well, if anyone could do it, I reckon it'd be you. I thought it'd be different how it turned out, but I couldn't dream of any other way. Now then, shall we go face my god for one last time? Find out what it is we can or can't do in these end times. Whether we're meant to wither or thrive.
Sure.
Consider me your second shadow.
And Takeu.
I am thinking that Aothis has come this far, and he will not wait on you before he finishes what he started. If he shatters what is sat in the heart of Ukaizo, this action will ripple beyond the Deadfire, beyond life as we know it. The Huana could use a change, an upset, something that gets them working together. History has shown that we thrive in adversity. The land of my mothers, as real as anything that rises up from the bed of the sea. Also, smaller than I expected. This should be as interesting as the last time I confronted a god-possessed Adra Colossus.
Let's go.
Come, Captain. We have not a moment to lose.
Well, that was riveting. A tiny engraving reads, in memory of Dumu, Tapua, and Tokima, Gaudi's first chosen. That's kind of fancy. Though the device atop the tower spins in wild, blurring revolutions, the air around it is still and calm. You stand in the eye of the storm, which has cordoned off Andra's mortar from the rest of Eora for thousands of years. You see an antiquated control panel, its levers engaged in positions of activation. Standing uncharacteristically still, Takehu turns his head to take in his surroundings all at once. A deep furrow cleaves his brow.
I have stood here before.
How?
As a boy, I dreamed of a tower made of water. I stood at the pinnacle and made obeisance to Mother Ngati.
Yeah, the graphics are really nice, Beatnik. It's a really good-looking game.
This tower, this view.
Plants his hands on his hips and surveys the vista beyond. What does it mean?
Ngati's covenant, the first form of water shaping. It is here, waiting for me.
Okay, well, do whatever you need to do then.
So beautiful. But look what they have done with you.
He covers his heart with one hand and lowers his head, muttering a slow and fervent prayer. From the boiling madness of the storm, a signal drop of water lands on Takehu's brow, running down his cheek like a tear. Takehu wipes his eyes dry with his thumb. He pauses to stare down at his hand as if seeing it for the first time.
I remember.
He clenches his hands into fists. The storm surges around you as the winds pick up speed. Takehu's head snaps back and his eyes squeeze shut in agony, ecstasy, or both. He rouses at last, shaking a few droplets of moisture from his hair.
I am the tremor that inspires the tidal wave, the pebble that calls the avalanche. Mother, your son has found his birthright where you left it.
Takehu raises his fists to the sky and lets out an uproarious laugh. Eventually, he shifts his focus over to you.
My people never doubted that Ngati's chosen would find our ancient gift. Takara, I did not share their confidence until now. I am ready, Watcher. Let us finish what we started.
A deep percussion shakes the tower by its roots. Somewhere in the obscurity of the storm, Aothis rears back his fist to deliver a mighty blow. The control panel has weathered the millennia better than the rest of the city. A layer of dust covers its elegant glass tubes and engraved copper levers, which appear both intact and fully functional. Deactivate the machine. You grip the largest of the levers and bring it up to its starting position. The vibration of the machinery gradually slows and the turbulent winds grow calm.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Andra's mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukaizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell. The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid night stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
Soon you will confront Aothis for what will likely be the final time, and you will do so as the Herald of Bareth, the only creature on the face of Eora to whom he will listen. Remember that.
The pallid night inclines her head to you, black hair hanging lank in her face. She steps back and cedes the floor to Helia with a small, resigned sigh.
If Aothis truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the wheel, Generations worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Aethys be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Aethys must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Abaddon strides forward.
Aethys thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
Aethys will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Aethys must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Aethys is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
Kith will not solve Aethys' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Aethys drags them. Our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
Galawain says. He lets his words hang in the air for a moment. Gaze, level with your own.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds ingenuity. If our work of generations was not in vain, Kith will succeed in spite of Aethys' actions.
Magrin says.
Welcome back, enough chat. You missed me one shot, the big super boss. It was pretty pathetic.
I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Aethys' challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
Magrin is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Aethys were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death. Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence reign.
As Rimmergon's words fade, the Pallid Knight returns. She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height. She lets the arms crossed over her chest fall to her sides. She speaks to you openly, plainly, an expression almost like tenderness, turning up the corners of her lips.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe?
The gods did what they could. We'll take it from here.
I only suggest that you walk into this future with eyes wide, Watcher. The mantle of responsibility is a heavy one, broad though Kith's shoulders may be. Now the time has come for us to part, Watcher. I laid upon you a difficult duty, and I know you desire to be free of it. You will be in time, but not now. You have work to do yet. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to destroy it. You granted him peace. Remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Aethys now. When you stand before him, choose your words carefully.
She claps her gauntleted hands together, and a sound like thunder rumbles through the room. As the floor crumbles and falls away beneath you, you hear the sound of a single bell ringing, and beneath it, the faintest whisper.
Consciousness returns in a wave as the last of the machine's energy dissipates. The calming of the storm reveals the sprawling city around you like sand wiped from a mosaic. You see the distant outline of Aethys raising his fist in triumph and purpose.
You keep falling asleep on me, I'm gonna have to start walking behind you with a pillow. Oh, by the way, the storm's gone. Also, I think Aethys is ending the world.
Adair takes a long draw from his pipe and nods as he stares at the Colossus in the distance.
It seems we're all still here.
Do not touch the machine again, I say. The delicate fish can only take so much.
God's darnation. My head.
One of Voyager has dropped anchor offshore, its sail ragged and mast holding on by mere splinters. The empty deck tells that the surviving crew have long since boarded a skiff and rowed to shore, which means you're no longer alone on Ukaizo. Sigh, draw your weapon. Alright, who wants to die first? Come one, come all. He's auditioning for the new Rocky film. I will crush you. So I can't go that way. I go this way. Alright. I guess we can take those stairs we couldn't take now. Now the storm's gone.
I see that Ngati continues to test me by sparing your life. Wresting Ukaizo from the Huana was not enough. I see you had to corrupt Ngati's chosen as well.
My queen, this is not...
I have wasted enough words on you already. You are nothing more than Ngati's foul sense of humor. How wrong we were. Ukaizo is diminished for you standing here. I will bring the dignity of this city back to the Huana.
The Principi send their thanks. Try not to lose your next homeland.
The legacy of my people will not fall into the hands of pirates.
She's mad because I sided with the pirates instead of her. Because it bugged out and I wasn't able to side with her.
My warriors, our ancestors would weep if they saw us ready to draw blood in the streets of Lost Ukaizo. Let them weep, I say.
Letting out a mighty call, the queen fixates on you with a look of deepest concentration.
Watch out.
Guess we're killing the queen. Alright. Bye, queen. Yeah, I'm not broken up about it. I have no attachment to any of the factions in this game, so it's like whatever. They're all dumb. Ooh, that was tough. Serpent Crown, +1 intellect, +1 perception, +10 accuracy, -25% recovery time when critically hit. It's kind of cool. What are you wearing? There you go. Aloft can wear a stupid hat now.
Shall put it to good use.
Happy to
It's like, sorry, I wasn't expecting people to reach level 20, I guess.
I hear you.
I'm now beginning to see where the difficulty complaints are coming from, because the first half of the game was relatively challenging, but the back half has been really easy. But yeah, the big Power Ranger monster, I used one empowered missile attack, and that killed it in one hit. There is no grinding in this game, Beatnik. Enemies don't respawn or anything. There's nothing to grind on. I explored everywhere, though.
To the ancient winding streets of Ukaizo. Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the god's great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Audra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound of any life. But with every step, the rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine.
No, I don't think there's any random encounters.
As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Audra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Aethys. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms. An immense Anguithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Audra at the machine's center. Periodically, Aethys's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Audra pillars across Ukaizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine. The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Audra, intertwined with fragments of Ukaizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries. The pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Aethys's head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side. As you arrive at the top, you catch Aethys's attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you. With the same gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sawyer's gone from Obsidian pretty soon. I get a feeling he's just stepping down as lead designer while they finish off all the DLC and stuff, and then he's going to quietly leave the company. Like most of the top talent at Obsidian, everybody's leaving.
To see Ukaizo in this way. It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, yes, but also kith from many other cultures. Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops. Each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo.
Mighty One, I once desired to return that power and beauty to the Huana. Now I wish only for the tribes to find it themselves. If not here, then elsewhere.
Yeah, all that's left is the Kane Boyarsky project, yeah.
Was I wrong? Have I failed them?
Tekehu, The gods have already decided so much of your life. I would not shape what remains of it. You know how your people could benefit from your help. You have also come to see that this life is yours to live as you choose. Deciding what course to take is not easy. But if you do not choose, your life may pass you by as you stand at the crossroads.
This isn't right. You can't put this burden on us. You can't make the gods' problems, our responsibility to fix. How can you have faith that what you're doing is good? You know how many people are going to suffer because of this. No matter how you spin this, you can't set it straight.
Adair, I wish I could explain it to you. It breaks my heart that I cannot. But no matter how much you curse me, do not despair. The souls of this world will need people like you. Lights burning brightly in the darkness to come.
Gon, please, I'm begging you. What do I do following this? How am I to best serve those still living, to improve our future chances of survival?
The Deadfire and the Eastern Reach are full of animancers. Women and men with brilliant minds who can solve this great problem. They will also need people with brilliant souls, like you, Shodi. People who can tend to the spiritual needs of the world in a time of fear and desperation.
The one and only time anyone would ever call Jodi brilliant.
Remember, the flame you bear is not only light, but warmth. Provide comfort to all who need it.
Aloth shakes his head, looking up at Aothis.
What right do you have to do this? Destroy the wheel and leave us with nothing? Without even knowing what will come next?
Aloth, we are all gods and mortals, responsible for our own actions. But inaction carries its own moral responsibility. It is a burden I have carried for far too long. One must always do as their conscience dictates, even if that means abdicating a position of power. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
I want you to go further than breaking the wheel. I want you to destroy it all. After you've gone, the gods will go to war with each other and with mortals, unless they have a strong leader.
And you believe I should give my strength to one of them? I am certain Woodica has convinced you of this course. Why do you believe I should give this power, which we have used so irresponsibly for so long, to any of them?
There's going to be a struggle among the gods. Your power can ensure it is swift and merciful.
Though I hope my brothers and sisters would not do so, history has shown that this chaos may very well move them to war. You have convinced me, Watcher. The gods do need a strong leader. I will ensure they have one after I am gone. I must attend to my final work now. I cannot delay any longer. You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
No sooner have Aothis' words entered your mind than you hear one final dissonant ring of the chime within you, then silence. The knot that formed when the Pallid Knight first addressed you in the beyond is now gone.
You are free now. As free as any of us can be. Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves. I have great hope for you. But always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Aothis squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fists back and resumes his assault. The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Aothis draws power from the luminous Audra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat.
I misunderstood the option I picked. I thought I was asking for him to give his power to me. Instead, he's going to give it to some other god. Damn. I wanted to become a god, so I could just crush everyone, but I misread it. Oh well.
He returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Adra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, so too does Aethys's body, built to withstand the passage of thousands of years. The great Adra statue has finally been pushed beyond its limits. Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Aethys does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted. The machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. Aethys stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart, warping the air with the intense heat. Aethys drives his right fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Adra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation. You see Aethys's arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes as Aethys's shout echoes throughout the valley. Your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukaizo has been destroyed. The wheel has been unmade. As Aethys's voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Andra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Aethys. Aethys channels his essence into Bareth, empowering the god of doors, cycles, and life and death beyond all other gods. Bareth vows to maintain peace and order in the here and the beyond, while Kith labor toward a solution. The other gods, for the time being, submit. Under Bareth's guidance, the world becomes a more predictable, stable place. Seasons fall into a disturbingly regular rhythm, and wars, famines, and natural disasters dwindle. But so too do surges of prosperity and innovation. Great minds around the world work methodically towards salvation, both unhindered and uninspired by changes, upheavals, and the unexpected. After the battle, Aldi sends her fleet from Ukaizo. Her first and last act as Lady of the Ancient City is to reactivate the storms from Andra's spire. Her work done, she departs in the floating hangman. She determines that none shall control the power of Ukaizo. Under her, the Principe shall remain a lawless, rootless pirate band, and Deadfire shall remain free for any with the will to make their way in it.
How the hell did she get my fucking boat? Fuck you. It's my boat.
As the rise in piracy makes operations in Deadfire ever more costly, the Consuelo Mea Compressa votes to scale back the Valian Trading Company's presence. Luminous Adra and Animancy Research remain valuable enterprises, but the company can no longer afford to seek dominance in the region. The Royal Deadfire Company makes a final attempt to seize Ukaizo using an innovation of its own. A ship that submerges itself beneath the waves and storms. It is not, however, immune to the magically charged barrels that Aldi's ships drop into the water. After an embarrassing defeat, the Royal Deadfire Company consolidates its forces in the archipelago and limits its ambitions to a handful of well-guarded plantations. The storms of Rauatai rage on, and its people muddle through with the same tenacity that has served them for millennia. Devastated by their defeat at Andra's mortar, and demoralized by the loss of Ukaizo, the Huana tribes fragment further. Without a monarch in place, the once great city of Nekataka gradually devolves into a den of crime.
Fuck Nekataka, who cares? That city sucks.
Port Maje remains stable despite the changes at work in Deadfire. Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa work together to shore up their defenses against the Principe and to petition the Valian Trading Company for additional funding. Thanks to their joint efforts, Port Maje becomes a bastion of security and prosperity in the southern archipelago. As the balance of power changes in Deadfire,
10 hours.
does Nekataka transform. Pirates, smugglers, and other criminals flow into the city, openly flouting its laws. The pirates continue smuggling food into the gullet, and the Raparu embrace their benefactors, aiding and concealing their smuggling operations. Over time, the gullet becomes a hotbed of piracy. With Skiarilifus's essence still empowering the Watershapers Guild, the practice of water shaping grows and flourishes in Nekataka, and its practitioners rise in prestige. They install conveyors in the falls that run through the city and craft sculptures for every street and plaza. Thus, the Watershapers Guild becomes a power in its own right in the city of Nekataka. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars. Plagued with nightmares and haunted by the deaths at Hesango, Letharn begins questioning his faith in Aethys. At first, his fellow Dawnstars chide him, but that changes as word of Aethys's deeds at Ukaizo spreads. After all, what business have they worshipping a god who denied his own legitimacy? The faith of the children of the Dawnstars fades, but their commitment to the people of Deadfire does not. They continue feeding, healing, and helping the neediest, just as they have for decades. It is no longer a holy mission, but it is a mission all the same. The Adra at Pokakohara is restored, but the rumored Valian Trading Company post never comes to Tikawara. Torn between waiting and seeking better fortunes elsewhere, the tribe gradually scatters and fragments. Though your adventures alter the destiny of Aora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed in ways both big and small. In the days sailing back from Ukaizo, Adair finds himself disillusioned with all gods, his own above all. Where the gods have touched Deadfire, he sees only destruction, loss, and emptiness. He casts off all symbols of Aethys, and even begins refusing to use his name. Ultimately, he chooses to remain with you on the Defiant, knowing if any mortal is to have the final word in a conflict with the gods, it will be the Watcher of Cadnua. Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. Early in your travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent flirting. He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point. But after a little smoothing on your part to nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Shodi with an open mind. And Shodi begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship.
Well, at least they didn't bone.
Seemingly lit with an inner glow, Shodi takes to a new life of mission work with gusto. She still is committed to shepherding souls forgone, but having realigned her goals with that of her fellow Dawnstars, she now endeavors to help the living as much as the dead. As you travel the Deadfire, you find her sleeping better and laughing more often. When the time comes for her to return to her temple in Nekataka, it's with a clear wistfulness and much lip-biting on her part. She leaves you with her sickle and a hastily scrawled note. It reads, "A keepsake from a path once walked. Remember me, Watcher, for I will forever dream of you." Aloth renews his commitment to destroying the Leaden Key. With the wheel broken, loosening the god's stranglehold on Kith is more urgent than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. Seraphin seems little impacted by your journey. "Always knew the gods were larger than me," he tells you, on the evening he decides to part from your company. He's too long put aside those he cares most for. He confesses over a bottle of rum, and he's got leagues to sail to make it right. The following morning, he's gone, leaving only a crude stick figure rendering of Aethys, scrawled into the hull to mark his passage.
Given that I haven't even talked to this guy once since he joined my party.
The Valian Trading Company is furious with Pallegina for her support of the Watcher during the Principe conquest of Ukaizo. Their fury intensifies when Aldi's pirates triple their attacks on all merchant ships in the Deadfire. Instead of removing Pallegina from the Brotherhood, the Dukes assign her to guard the most vulnerable ships in the company fleet. 5 months into her assignment, Pallegina goes down with the Vengiata men Aimora. Her body is never found.
Yes! Fuck you. Fuck Pallegina. Now she'll never show up. Although I don't think there's going to be a third one, because this game isn't selling very well. But eat shit, Pallegina. I never have to see you again.
Pleased with the Navy's conduct throughout the Deadfire campaign, Maya returns to active duty. She can find a free drink and a sharp salute anywhere she goes in Rawatayan territory. In recognition of her performance, the Navy attempts to give Maya less strenuous work. She flatly refuses, throwing herself into the fray whenever she can. Her rifle never has time to cool.
It's true, the body not being found does give them an out for her to show up again. Fuck.
She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza.
I never talked to this lady a single time.
Takehu distances himself from the problems of the Deadfire, giving the tribes a reprieve from godlike omens. Ngati's silence speaks volumes. The Huana grow to rely on each other, paving a new way forward divorced from their traditions. Soon after his departure from Neketaka, sailors report of mountainous water sculptures rising from the open sea, entrancing and salacious. These works are celebrated everywhere, from the brothel to the palace, though the identity of the artist remains an open question. Your farewell is short and cordial. Nothing further needs to be said, and you wish each other well. Takehu does not look back. The sea feels restless in his absence. Great changes are at work in Deadfire and the world beyond, but the storms of Andra's mortar rage on. Whatever salvation Kith achieve will be hard-won, but it will be the deliverance of their own choosing. As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
If you look at the achievement stats for the first game, Pillars of Eternity 1, I think only like 20% of people who bought that game got past the first act. So the fact that the sequel isn't doing so great isn't that surprising, in that context anyway. I guess that's it. Meow. Alright, there we go. We're done. That was certainly a video game. I feel like my opinion of this game has been colored by streaming it. if I was playing it on my own, I would have skipped through so much of the dialogue and it wouldn't have bothered me as much. But because I'm streaming it and letting you guys see the story, like sitting through all that shit was just like, oh my god. So poorly written. Okay, let's... We're not playing Realms of Arcania, I just need to get the ranking up here. It's time to slap a ranking on this thing. Why is it not? What the hell? There we go. Okay, it's not so much skipping it as I can read, like, way faster than that game's voice acting goes through. But, sitting through all that fucking poorly written dialogue was just like, oh my god. It's pretty rough. Okay. So where are we going to rank this thing? Let's start, like, down here. So, better than Battle Chasers, definitely. Better than Hayaki, yeah. Yep. Better than Ravenloft, yeah. Yep. Better than Dark Sun Shattered Lands. No, definitely not. Put it there. Oops. Shit. Okay. I was like, fuck, what was there? Okay, so we rank that 24th. 24th best RPG I've streamed. Worse than all those games. Better than all those games. There we go. So, now we could move on to Buck Rogers, which was my plan to start the next